Okay, Gina, I make it about 7. Would you like to?
Yeah, absolutely. So, hi everyone. We're going to get started in a couple of minutes, and we're really excited to bring this to you. And we'll just wait until maybe a few more people get on. So we just might wait a minute or so. And look, we know you're going to love this. It's going to be absolutely awesome. And how to feel fantastic after 40. And if you want that, you're definitely in the right spot. So yeah, just wait a couple more minutes, or maybe one more minute, 30 seconds, whatever, and we'll get started very, very shortly. So we just don't want anybody to miss anything. People might be running late, etc. So we'll just see how we go, and we'll get started very, very shortly. So yeah, you're in the right place, that's for sure. Yeah, so we're just waiting for more people to get on. Not sure if any more people will come on, but we will wait and see. It's a very, very important topic that we're actually discussing here. Affects pretty much all women. So we're really, really excited to bring this to you and change the lives of women everywhere. That's our mission. So, yeah. Well, Nic, it's a minute past 7 now. Do you want to get started? Because it is, I mean, I'm a bit of a stickler for starting on time, but
yeah, let's go.
Yeah, okay. So let's get started. We're really, really excited to bring you this. So off you go, Nic.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say hello to people that are on and just introduce myself. I run a business called Oils with Nic, and I educate around the whole essential oils and support. I wish I had smell-o-vision, because normally when I'm doing a lot of this, I'm passing oils around and we're enjoying it. And so I'll do my best to just talk you through the oils. And thank you to Gina. I just wanted to say I'm excited to partner with you and share some of the information. These oils can do us some amazing things to support us physically and emotionally, and especially in this point of our hormonal journey. Just a point I always want to talk about before I start anything with these oils, that the oils today is around a product called doTERRA. They're a therapeutic grade oil. Less is more. So yeah, they're amazing. It's an amazing brand, and any things that I say we can use these for is really purely around the doTERRA brand. So thank you very much. Let's get started.
Okay, let's get started. All right, so this webinar is all about how to feel fantastic after 40. And it can be any time after 40. In fact, it can be right up to 80 or 90 if you want, but it's without having to put in too much extra effort, because we know that sometimes there are programs out there where you have to actually, you know, change your whole life basically in order to actually get any results. Well, this is just a tweak of your life now. So let's actually get into it then and see what this is all about. Now, this bit of a bribe here, everybody. If you stay to the end, we're going to actually give you a gift of some beautiful essential oils. Nic will organise that. So just imagine that. That is pretty awesome, right? And but you only get this if you stay to the end. So just put that up front there. Now, another thing too. Oh, Nic, sorry, we had to go back.
Oh, no,
you want to say something? Did you want to say something about the oils?
Going to say I've handpicked some of these. So there's a selection of a few different oils, and I've handpicked them specifically for what we're all going to talk about tonight. And I'm not just going to send oils out, because I think the most important thing, of course, is what do you do with them once you've got them. So there'll be a little bit of information around them, and of course you can contact me.
Beautiful.
Oils and info.
Beautiful. Thanks, Nic. All right. So what we'd love you to do is to shut down any other devices you have open, and it's just that we really want to give you the absolute best value ever, and it's really important that we refrain from multitasking. And I know as women, and myself included, that we actually tend to multitask to get things done. However, I don't know whether you know this, but scientific research has shown that multitasking doesn't actually work. You've got to focus on one thing at a time to get things done quickly and properly. So we'd love you just to shut down anything else that you've got open at the moment, you know, whether it's on your computer or on your phone. We just need your attention, and I hope that's okay with everybody. All right. So this is why I know what I'm talking about. Okay, so my name's Gina, and I'll just give you a little bit of information about myself. I have a science and teaching background. I did a science degree, honours in biochemistry to be exact, in the 70s and 80s. And I actually worked in industry for 5 years after that, and believe it or not, in the pharmaceutical industry. And while I did that, I actually did my teaching diploma, and then I actually went teaching science because I really wanted to be around people. I wanted to be around kids. I wanted to be around lots of colleagues and all that sort of thing. So teaching was a perfect profession for my personality type. So yeah, I taught full time for 30 years, and yeah, so that is basically my background. And very, very important, I had a really, really challenging menopause. So challenging that I had to actually give up full-time teaching. That's how bad it was. My sleep was affected. I had every single symptom under the sun, and I just couldn't figure out why, but I'll get to that a little bit later. But yeah, just to suffice to say that I've actually had a really challenging menopause, and there's so many other women out there that are going through this as well, and I totally get that. So I also wrote a book about relationships, about midlife relationships, called Ignite the Spark, and it became a #1 bestseller on Amazon. And you can actually download, it's still on Amazon, you can download it, you can actually get a hard copy, or you can download it onto your Kindle. I'm also an expert in mindset and NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, and I'm also a certified coach. And I have been doing that for the last 7 years, 8 years now, since 2011, basically. So I did all my courses around in the 2011 time, and then I just basically started getting clients and helping everybody else. And it really helped me too, but that's part of my story for later on. I also contribute to the Australian Menopause Centre newsletter. I write articles to them for all the women going through menopause. And I'm pretty much an expert in midlife issues with all of the trainings and work I've done and research I've done and experience I've had. So, and typically for women, I do work with men as well, midlife men, but because I'm a woman, I guess it's typically women that I actually do work with. All right, Nic, over to you.
Hi, yes, this is me. A mum, IT background, and essential oil user, which is how I started out about 10 years ago. Discovered the beautiful oils when I was given a care pack after my hubby had an awful accident, and discovered the power of those oils for us physically and emotionally. I use them every day for my family, my friends. Where more people are asking me to share the knowledge and experiences I have. I'm now part of a number of community groups, schools, and I talk at events on how these oils have made a huge impact, not only to me, but to our families' lives. And I also run workshops to show people how to take very small steps to have big impact, specifically around reducing our toxic load and how that can make such a huge difference to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Nic. All right, so we've both done a lot of things right throughout our years. And just speaking for myself, I've always been really, really fit and healthy. And I've always been really conscious of my diet as well. I've always really been concentrated on my health ever since I was young, you know. And I was a gym instructor in a previous life as well in the 80s and 90s when we used to wear those G-strings and those headbands like Olivia Newton-John. So it's quite funny. And I've also meditated since 1992. And, you know, with all of this, I did not ever believe that I would actually have the symptoms of menopause that I ended up having. And it was only in retrospect, really, that I thought about menopause as being the cause of these symptoms, because I really thought that the symptoms that I had, I didn't even relate them to menopause. I just thought menopause was hot flushes, you stop your periods, happy days, no more periods. Well, that wasn't the case actually, but I'll talk about that later. But yes, I have done a lot of things right throughout my life. And so yes, I was quite shocked to actually have to go through such a bad menopause in light of that. And what about you, Nic?
Yeah, I think as you say, we generally, everybody, it's 80-20, isn't it? 80% of the time we are doing things right. So think that we're looking after ourselves by eating the right stuff, using the products that we think are safe to use on our bodies, and, you know, work these crazy busy lives and juggle, but, you know, we've got it together, and we're kind of looking after ourselves with our yoga. I do yoga. I've discovered my oils, and thankfully I'm a little bit behind Gina on the journey, so I'm heading into this direction now. So I'm also very lucky because I have discovered a lot of these techniques from Gina that she's going to talk about, and realised that what I thought was all the right decisions, and And Gina will talk about it, but things that will impact me, I had no idea that was the cause of it. So I'll let you talk about it, Gina. That's your.
Okay, thanks, Nic. All right, but having said how much we have done right throughout our lives, I didn't know this, but there are things that I wish I'd known when I started my perimenopause journey. Just to let you know, I'm actually 60 years old now. So I started perimenopause. It must have been around about 46. And I think full-on menopause happened around about 52. And I suffered really badly. But one of the things I really wish I'd known how to do, and that it would affect my menopause so much, was I wish I'd known how to slow down. I wish I'd not worked so hard and so long. Being a bit of an A-type personality, everything had to be perfect. And I really wish that I guess what I had at the time was a locked mindset. And I found it really hard to slow down. And even when I was on holidays, it took me ages to wind down. And as soon as I wound down, of course, I had to wind up to go back to school again. And and I didn't realize, but this was making my symptoms so much worse. The fact that I was just, like wound up all of the time. I was totally unaware. And then I was forced to do something about it when I completely burned out. I really was. So, Nic?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Gina. I was it's the same as you, really. I was working in corporate, so I let the hamster wheel really take over and kind of accepted that's how it should be. And I think was a bit of an adrenaline junkie with it, to be honest. People get adrenaline highs on all sorts of things, but stress and anxiety, I think I thought that was part of it. I thought that's how it should be, and then did realise that it really isn't sustainable for me, my health and my family's health. And does have enormous repercussions. Being in that fight or flight all the time is not good for our bodies.
Certainly not. Certainly not. Okay, and I just want to actually share this with you. This was a picture taken of me in 2012, at the beginning of 2012, the beginning of the school year. I was still teaching full-time at that stage. As you can see, do not take any notice of the smile. This was the peak of my menopause symptoms, and I didn't have hot flushes. I just had one big hot flush for years. And I was always wet, I was always damp, and I know it was summer at that time. However, even in winter, I was wet and I was hot, and I had to have the aircon on and the fan on. My poor husband was like freezing next to me in bed while I sort of had the fan and cold packs and everything on me, trying to keep myself, from having night sweats, etc. So that was, that I actually taught for another 3 years after that, 3.5 years, in fact. I don't know how I did it. But I was absolutely totally exhausted and burnt out. And that was even before the school year began. So I'm not sure how I lasted all of that time working full time. So over to you, Nic. Hello, Nic.
Yeah, I'm thankful that I've learned.
Wakey.
I know. I'll keep muting myself because there's a feedback, so I keep trying to mute in between.
Oh, okay, sure.
I'm thankful I've learned a little about some of the symptoms that I'm aware of before I kind of literally get to boiling point, like Gina looks like she is there. And I wish, Gina's discovered these oils along the way as well, and we've met around these oils, which is great. And some of these, with the heat, the flushes, the night sweats, the restless legs, the physical side effects, and Gina's going to talk about, not getting to get to that physical side effects because we don't want to mask symptoms. But certainly, some of the oils we can have that will help cool you down, will help alleviate some of the restless legs and massages for your feet, Epsom salt baths, etc., that can really help you once you're in this position.
Okay, and so what I've learned personally from this journey is, number one, I couldn't will the symptoms away. It was like, oh, I'll get over it. I'll be right. I did that for way too long, probably around about 8 to 10 years. And, it's just ridiculous. You just can't will them away and think they're just going to go away by themselves. That's what I learned. The major thing, I had to actually change my mindset and take really drastic action. And it was just crazy. My mindset was totally locked, and I knew that I had to give, something had to give, but I just didn't know what. I was so stuck. but I just had to change my mindset. It got to that extreme stage where I could not go on. I was a mess and I had to take drastic action. And what else I found out was that there was help out there. And it took me ages to find the help, though. That was it. I went to my doctor and he gave me HRT. It didn't work. All I did was bleed. That didn't work for me. I tried over the counter. I tried all of this stuff. And, even though it was bits and pieces all over the place, it was still help. And so that's why I'm doing what I'm doing now. My mission is to actually help women before they get to that stage so that they can, they can actually circumvent this situation. So, as I mentioned, I discovered all of this the absolute hard way. As I said, my mindset was absolutely stuck and I didn't know what else to do. But you guys, you get to do it the easy way because of what I've learned throughout my journey, and I just want to help out. I want to help out with what I've learned, and I want to help women get through this stage of life. So, this is the hard way. This was me pretty much. The hard way. Keep doing what you're doing now and just ignore it, right? It'll go away. That's what I thought. Next, get minimal or no help, or get the wrong help for you. Okay, I got a lot of the wrong help, by the way. That's how I found out what was right for me. So, yeah, just ignore it and get no help, get minimal help. And something else I find with a lot of women going through this stage, and I'll talk about the hormonal veil later, and it's to do with that. But basically, you want to blame your husband because you think your husband's changed. He's lazy or whatever. And it's like, no. You're the one that's changed. You want to blame your children because they don't pick up after themselves or they won't move out of home. You want to blame your parents or your boss or whatever for the feelings in your life. And that's just so not empowering, okay? So all of those things is doing it really the hard way. And it's like, it's like poking, with a pointy stick, up a hill. Is that the way is that how the saying goes? I don't even know, but you get the idea anyway. That's really the hard way to do things. So the question is, do you want the easy way? Do you want to sort of know about this? And yes, there is an easy way, a much easier way than what I went through. So let's talk about that. We're going to talk about 3 secrets. There are 3 secrets to menopause and midlife and all of the issues that go with it. And I'm going to talk about 3 of them. Well, I'm going to talk about 2 and Nic's going to talk about 1. The first secret is what the hell is really happening to me? What is really happening to me here? And, I just want to mention here that I was a biology teacher. Now, God forbid, right? I was a biology teacher. I went through menopause and I didn't even know I was going through menopause. And I thought to myself, if I'm a biology teacher and I wasn't even sure about this, what are other women who don't have a science background thinking what's happening to them? So, I don't know. Anyway, secret number 2. What is the hormonal veil and what does it mean for me? And I'm going to go into that in a bit of detail, okay? And secret number 3 is what Nic's going to actually do. Household toxins, how do they contribute to my symptoms? And oh my God, do they what? And yeah, there's toxic load on us all the time and it really doesn't help us. So we women in the West really are, behind the 8 ball as far as that goes. All right, so let's actually look at them one at a time. So the first secret is what is really happening to me. And, well, I know, and I was one of them, that many women think that you just have to grin and bear this stage of life, right? And I think most people think that. We just have to go through it. We have to put up with it, blah, blah. Well, it's not true. And did you know that stress has a huge impact on the symptoms of menopause? And I'm going to explain, this is my biology teacher coming out of me now, I'm going to explain exactly why a little bit later. Did you know also that many Indigenous cultures do not suffer the same symptoms as we do in the West, as women do in the West? And do you want to know why? Okay, I'll explain it to you. Did you know that our bodies, as they wind down, as you go into perimenopause and beyond, did you know that our ovaries stop producing progesterone first and then estrogen? Okay, you may have known that. But did you know also that other organs in the endocrine system, which is like the system of glands in our body, And for example, our adrenal glands that produce adrenaline, etc., the adrenal glands start to make the hormones of progesterone and estrogen, their sex hormones, as well as the other hormones, to actually pick up the slack from the ovaries. Did you know that? How amazing is that? Now, it is a gradual process. So as the ovaries are slowly shutting down, the adrenal glands are picking up the pace and picking up the slack, making progesterone and estrogen. And so if that were to happen and you didn't have stress in your life, you would feel quite okay. The thing is, though, that we actually, in our modern society, we are constantly in flight, fight, or freeze. You know, women today, we have full-time jobs. We look after the kids. We do most of the nurturing. We do most of the housework. We blah, blah. We do everything, right? And, you know, we think maybe our husbands don't help out as much. But you know what, ladies? We are programmed for this. Our hormones program us for that. And that's why humans have been so successful as a species. There's another biology teacher thing coming out in me. But anyway, so the fact that we are always in fight, flight, or freeze means our adrenals are working overtime and they are exhausted. They cannot make the sex hormones for us. And also because of our diet, our standard Australian diet, also called the SAD diet, which lacks a lot of nutrition. Therefore, the adrenals don't even have the raw resources or ingredients to actually make these hormones, as well as make adrenaline and cortisol and everything else. So basically, we don't make the sex hormones in our body that we need that will actually, stop our symptoms from getting so bad. So, but if you can learn to de-stress and have people in your life that can help you to change so that you have less stress or perceived stress, really, is so important. You need people around you to help because, you cannot see it yourself. I certainly couldn't. And, we all have blind spots around ourselves. And that's why, for me, my coach helped me see that. And did you know that 80% of success is mindset? Your mindset determines 80% of your success in anything. And it's only 20% that's due to strategies and tools. Okay, we can get strategies and tools from anywhere, but your mindset actually is so, so important. And in particular around this time of life when things really start to change for you unexpectedly. Now, what I'd like you to do is imagine that you learned the mindset to be able to completely de-stress. Imagine how good that would be for your body, your mind, and your spirit. And imagine a life where your stress was minimal and managed. And if you were living in peace. And, it's so possible for every one of us. I wouldn't have believed this a few years ago, but I do now, okay? And one of the great tools, of course, is the essential oils. Okay, so the next one. Secret number 2. What is the hormonal veil and what does it mean for me? Okay, so let's go into it in a little bit more detail. First of all, have you ever heard of the hormonal veil? And did you even know that we had one? Firstly, have you ever thought about how much we are controlled by our hormones? They are such powerful chemicals. I mean, having been a teacher for a long time, I only have to look at teenage boys and girls really, but mainly teenage boys to know when they go through puberty and they just go nuts, right? They are controlled by their hormones, but we all are. But also, we have this emotional baggage from our childhood, and we all have it. We all have it. Even if we had the most idyllic childhood, we all have baggage of some kind. And most of it's unconscious, so we don't even know to address it. But even if, we did know about it consciously, we don't bother addressing it because from the ages of, say, 12, 13 to around about 50 when you go through menopause, we are controlled by our hormones. And we park all of that emotional baggage, anything, we can't deal with it because our hormones are raging. We've got other priorities. Yes, we want to have sex. We want to get the best boy in school, right? We want to actually have sex with them. We want to actually get married. We want to have children. We want to have babies. We want to nurture them. We want to look after our family. So all this is actually overriding any emotional baggage that you don't even want to deal with it, right? You don't even know you've got it most of the time because it's totally unconscious. Between the ages of 0 and 7, we don't have like a filter. Everything that we experience, that we sense through our five senses, goes into our unconscious mind as truth. So when mum says, Santa Claus is coming tonight, yeah, you believe it, right? It's complete truth, right? And it's great when your parents say, you're smart, you're beautiful. And of course, our parents have all said that to us. And of course, we believe it. We've actually taken that on unconsciously. But what about the times when they say things like, oh, you stupid idiot, because of course, parents are human. They get frustrated and they say things that they probably don't mean. And they don't know any of this stuff about, unconscious baggage and all the rest of it. So they don't know anything about, like NLP or the unconscious mind or anything like that. So, they probably said things like, oh, you stupid idiot, or they abused you verbally or even physically. They might have hit you. And of course, we take that on as well. And that's really powerful stuff. And we carry those decisions and that negativity and that baggage with us all our lives. So when the hormonal veil lifts, because we've been living under this veil, since puberty to menopause, when that veil finally lifts and we can see life a little bit differently now, we often look back in our lives and think, oh my God, what am I doing? What have I done with my life? Oh God, I could poke my husband's eyes out with a fork. Things like that. And it's no wonder that we're angry and frustrated, because it feels like we've actually been duped. Now, the idea of the hormonal veil, I didn't make it up, by the way. There's a really great book by an obstetrician and gynecologist in the States. Her name is Christiane Northup. If you've actually been doing any reading around menopause, you might know of her. She actually wrote this amazing book called The Wisdom of Menopause. I highly recommend it. It comes from a doctor's perspective, a woman's perspective, a healing perspective, not just the Western medicine, but also the perspective of, connection of mind, body, and soul. And she is just so amazing. So she came up with this term of the hormonal veil lifting and seeing life differently. And, it's a huge wake-up call for us women, because it helps us put our life in perspective. Now, I actually, for my story, I wondered why, when I was going through perimenopause, why I was so damned irritated all the time, right? I was becoming intolerant to the kids at school. I was becoming really intolerant to my colleagues, because I was their boss, and if they didn't do something right, I was snapping at them. And I was totally unaware of this until people pointed it out to me, which is really embarrassing when I look back on it. And, basically what it was my hormonal veil lifting. And I had to make some really big changes in my life, really, really big changes. And, with my coach, I had to get a coach because I became a coach. So, of course, I needed to have a coach as well. And, I just don't know where I would have been without her. She really helped me get clear on what I needed to become and what I needed to do to get myself well again. And that's how I basically got through this. Okay, that's how I got through this. So now, ladies, this is your time. Whatever symptoms you have, they are not to be ignored, but they're to be noticed so that you can actually go about making things right and changing your life to make it the life that you want, okay? So these symptoms are messages that need to be heeded. They are our inner guidance system telling us to pay attention and to make adjustments in our lives so that we can make our lives really good. And this is where coaching comes in, and it is so important. We just don't know how to go about it often, and I certainly didn't. And often we think there's something wrong with us. And, we feel this way, we think there's something wrong, and really there isn't. It's just our body's going, okay, it's time now for me, and we've got to be completely honest with ourselves if we're to lead the best life at midlife and beyond, okay? And we have deeper needs that can't be ignored. We've ignored them for too long throughout our hormonal years, and now it's, we must listen to our bodies. Now, this is often called the midlife crisis, and we know, I actually wrote a blog on it recently, and, we hear of men going through it, and they certainly do, but women probably we probably don't hear about women going through it as much, but they certainly do, probably very silently, in fact. But often we just want to do things differently. The kids may have grown up. We might want to change careers. We want to live life on our terms. And again, this is where coaching comes in, because many of the wounds, remember I just mentioned the emotional baggage from our past, that hasn't been dealt with. And a lot of it's unconscious anyway. And that needs guidance to be dealt with. And once you become consciously aware of what needs you have and what needs to be dealt with, there are processes and interventions and stuff that can give you huge breakthroughs. And this will free you up emotionally to be able to set goals and to get what you want in life and to have the best life that you want and to be the best version of yourself, because that's what everybody wants. So imagine if your hormonal, or when your hormonal veil lifts, if it hasn't already, that you have the mindset, the strategies and the tools to make really positive changes in your life so that you can have the life that you want. And we have the oils as well as tools, but you've got the mindset, and you've got that, what you need, the basis for actually having the great life that you want. Okay, so over to Nic now.
Thank you, Gina. And I hadn't heard about the hormonal veil. I always find that fascinating, and I've been in one of your webinars before, so thank you. It's brilliant. So I'm going to talk about toxins, and it is a sorry fact that today we do live in a toxic environment, and the products that we buy for our homes and skin can include these toxins, and we're just not aware of them. And I'm certainly not hippie shake that we have to take all toxins away, because we live in the world, but we can certainly, by doing some small things, make some reductions of the toxins that we're bringing into our home. These chemicals are absorbed into our bodies through the skin, which is one of the biggest problems. The lotions and potions, and also inhaling the fumes. We don't even know we're doing that. From air fresheners, cleaning products. If you look on the back of any shower product, it's got great big toxic warnings. Don't inhale. Don't touch, skin irritations. They openly tell us about these, and then we spray them all in our showers, get in the shower, and we inhale all of these fumes. And even from some of the perfumes that we're using. And another biggie for me was cleaning my bench tops. That I'm spraying all this stuff on bench tops, and then my teenage kids are making their sandwiches and making their packed lunches in the morning, and then all those chemicals are going straight on the fruit and the bread, and they're in which, my daughter's quite sensitive. She gets eczema. I'm in the middle of what's happening at both ends in our house. We've got me in perimenopause, and we've got the kids going through puberty. So the hormones are either end. So equally, this is impacting them in their stressful time. And just wanted to go back to touch on that what Gina was talking about, that we all have a fight or flight mode. And it's okay when we need to run for the bus and complete a deadline once or twice. My kids had a presentation today at school, and it was quite stressful. But it's the constant flow of fight or flight that is suppressing our immune and reproductive hormonal activity. And we can use our oils to center us around this and give us back to a state where our body can help us and be in a calmer state. Because our bodies are fighting all these chemicals. Along with this, we're not giving our bodies a break to heal or repair. Gina, I can't click the slide.
There we go, darling. Yep.
So really, for me, it's the biggies. Imagine, we could have a life where we could reduce this toxic load in our home very easily, have a little kit bag that we can calm the farm that we all need to do, and support us naturally, and have a natural alternative that aid and not mask our symptoms. I've got the oils all over my home, depending on what the oils are, and we're now at the stage where the children will take the oils first. I'm certainly not replacing any doctor's visit, and that is super duper important. If there's anything you need to go, you go to your doctor. But if you've got headaches, you're having hot flushes, you're feeling a little bit stressed, go to your the natural kit bag that you can have, and go there first. I shared a few of those in the ebook that Gina and I put together, which you already got, which had got some of the recipes and things that I do. But just two or three small things that I do every day. If I'm a bit hot and bothered, I use peppermint oil. So I'll put it in my body cream, or have it in a little spritzer in the fridge, or pop it in my handbag. And it's a great way to calm down. It refreshes you, it wakes you up, and it's great for the lungs. So a lot of stress is held in your lungs, so you're feeling all tight and anxious. Where you breathe it in and it inhales, and it opens you all up and makes you cool. So I use peppermint. I love that. That's one of my staples. Claricalm, which is going to be one of the goodies that we're going to include in our kit. But this is a wonderful blend of oils. It's in a roll already. It has things like clary sage, lavender, bergamot, Roman chamomile, which everybody knows chamomile tea. and lang lang, which is really good for balancing our hormones, and it's good for at any time of life. Whether you're in puberty, whether you're struggling with your period, so if you get heavy periods, you get tummy aches and pains, you can rub it on your tummy, and equally to help us with as the hormones are decreasing that Gina's already talked about. The other thing I do is I pop Epsom salts in the bath, and I add some lavender before bed. Pop lavender on the diffuser. If you don't have baths, just pop some lavender in the corner of your shower, and you put the heat on in the shower. Instead of all those toxic cleaning chemicals, you get the beautiful lavender that you can inhale before bedtime. And cleaning. So yes, I clean all of my house with these oils. I do not use any chemicals at all. It is, I promise you, clean. It does smell beautiful. It does get rid of mold. It does get rid of grease. It gets rid of smells. And it costs me a lot less money than it does this from buying from the supermarket. And you've got a lot of those already in the ebook that we've provided to you. But I can also, we're going to talk about later how you can get access to a lot more of this hands-on information on how to use the oils when you get hold of them. Thanks, Gina.
Okay, ladies. Just let me ask you a question. Now, all the stuff that we've actually been talking about is pretty cool, right? There's just so much information there. And, you know, we've been having a great time with you, and we've learned some great stuff, right? And we've been going for about half an hour, and that's not really a very long time, okay? So we can't really cover everything that we know in an hour webinar. It's just impossible. In fact, even if we did an all-day webinar, and I've done all-day workshops, and I just scratched the surface of what I can actually bring to the table. So even that is pretty, you know, pretty difficult. So look, you know, everything that we've actually covered has been really exciting. And basically, how would you guys like to work with us directly? And, you know, we can actually help you implement this stuff that we've just talked about. So, yeah, imagine having a life after 40 and menopause and embracing this new sense of freedom with a great mindset, etc. And, you know, what would that do for your life? It would be pretty amazing, right? Now, I know that this can help you. And as your coach, your teacher, having these tools like the oils, you know, we really want to serve you. So what if we could serve you and help you implement all of this? So I know you guys want information, and we're giving you as much as we can in the time that we've got. And but we've also got something else that can really help you, okay? And I know it's a bit awkward. We're on a webinar, and we do, of course, have something to sell you. And if you guys are okay with that, I'd love to share this with you because, you know, we're really excited by what we've actually put together here. So is that okay with everybody? Hands up. Yep. Okay. So let us walk you through this. All right. So now, you've probably been on webinars and seminars, etc., that are really exciting, and you're really fired up, and you know, you get really, really excited about it. But then you don't do anything about it. You go back to your normal routine. Nothing changes. Nothing happens. And we've all been there. And it's called the law of diminishing intent. You might have heard of it. And it's sad because, you know, we've just shown you all of this great information about how you can change your life and how you can have the life that you want, and, you know, change the things that you don't want in your life. And, you know, this happens because old habits die hard. And, you know, the only way to be successful here is for you to learn to break the habit right now. And we can actually help and give you all the tools and strategies that you need to have a better life, you know, to ease your symptoms, to set goals for the next stage in your life, and to follow through with this. And if you don't, what happens is, and it's human nature, we all do it, none of us are exempt from this. If we don't do it, we just slide back into old habits. It's just what we do because that's part of our comfort zone. So the only way for you to make any changes in your life is to take action straight away to take you to the next level. So this is what we're actually going to give you. This is what we've put together for you. Okay, so there's a one-on-one clarity session with me, which is worth $500, goes for a couple of hours. There's an easy how-to guide and a one-on-one with Nic with her oils and with an oily gift, and that's worth $300. So altogether, it's worth $800. So what you can do here is you can say goodbye to doubting yourself, say goodbye to not putting yourself first, say goodbye to debilitating symptoms, and say goodbye to exhaustion. Okay? All right, now when we actually put this together, we actually had two choices. We could actually sort of make it really, really cheap and, put something together we could sell to a whole lot of people. But the problem was that we couldn't put the time and resources and effort required to really, really serve you. So what we did was we actually decided to charge a little bit more so that we could give you more personal attention with all of these things. And the high price justifies us spending the time and resources on you. And that's why we decided to charge just a little bit more for our package, okay? Now, I just want you to have a look at, this is a testimonial of one of my clients. Now, Karen's 55 years old, and she's so typical of the women that I've actually worked with. Her marriage was falling apart, and she was desperately unhappy when she actually came to see me. So I'm going to give you about 20 seconds to actually read this testimonial now. I'm going to shut up for a minute. It's really hard for me to shut up, isn't it? But I'm going to, and I'm going to let you actually read that. Okay, I think you've all had time to read that now. I will move on. So now this is over to Nic.
Yeah, thank you. I just include some emails and some text messages where people had come back and said thank you very much, which is always so lovely. Of when they come back, people come back and say, "Golly gosh, look what happened." My daughter had her first full night's sleep in a year, and because of what specifically that little girl at the top who's 10 and is going through a lot of anxiety. The school counsellor and school are now working with these oils, and they're taking them to the school and they're taking them to the breakout room where kids can go and just have some time out, and are having great results. I had another lady who is perimenopausal. I met her through a cancer council event where we were all giving some information, and I went through actually how to clean with oils, and she came up to me after and had a little sample of some vetiver, wild orange, lavender, and cedarwood, and she rang me. I went, my goodness gracious, thank you so much. So it's lovely, once you get some of these, to say how the positive impact that these oils are having on people.
Didn't that woman actually have the best night's sleep that she'd ever had after those oils?
She had the first full night's sleep in 3 years.
Isn't that amazing? Wow, that's incredible.
She's turned into a friend, that lovely lady, and we text each other often. Nic, could you just tell me what? And now I'm going on holiday, and it's turned her life around. It's just one little sample oil that she had. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, amazing, the difference. Okay, so this is what you're going to get. Okay, the clarity session with me worth $500, the easy how-to guide and session with Nic with the oily gift worth $300, total value of $800. However, we're going to actually throw in a bonus. I'll let Nic speak to this actually.
Yeah, so I've got some extras, some nice little oils. The wild orange, it's bubbles in a bottle, as we call it. That's a beautiful, happy oil. It's uplifting. It's great for anxiety. Claricalm I've talked about, which is all the hormonal oil, and that's a blend of some beautiful oils. And then I'll get in touch with you at the end to see when we do this pack, what oil do you want? So it may not specifically be around what you think it is that we're talking about today for menopause, but it may just be, I've got eczema, my hot flushes, I've got really bad headaches, I get migraines, and I'll put together an oil specifically that would help you with what you're struggling with.
Okay, do you want to speak to that one as well, Nic?
Yeah, so we've set up this, I'm quite excited about this, a private Facebook group called Love and Hot Flushes. And we're filling it with recipes, hints, tips, downloadable guides, not just on my stuff with the oils, but there's so much oily stuff that I'm putting in there. But Gina's going to be putting some real great tips that we can use on a daily basis to help us on a daily level, and also come into the group and do some lives. So talk about things that you can do today and something that she's learned. And we're also partnering with other people that are really keen to join the group and add some help, with yoga, meditation and all that. And there's no end date to this group. Once you're part of this group, you're part of the group. There'll be only discussions that you want. You've got access to us because we're admins on the group, so you can ask us any questions at any time. And we will keep updating with fresh information.
Great, thanks, Nic. Okay, so this is what you're going to get again. Clarity session with me, the session with Nic with the oily gift and the how-to guide. the first bonus of 3 bottles of oil worth $50, and the second bonus for how to use these specific oils for menopause and being part of the Facebook group, the awesome Facebook group. And of course, that's priceless. That's absolutely priceless when you think about your health. And altogether, that's a total value of $850 plus, plus, plus. And now, when you actually buy this package, if all it did was to realize that positive change is absolutely possible, would it be worth it? Of course it would be. I know it does. And of course we know it's so much more than that. Also, if all it did was to give you some nice oils to detox your home and make your home smell nice and make you feel good, would it be worth it? Of course it would. And again, we know that it's worth so much more than that. And if all this package did was give you some direction as to what you could do next, would it be worth it? Absolutely. Totally. Now, this is the offer we're making today. That $850 plus, 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 you can actually get for $97 just today. So what you need to do is just click on that link and another page will open and you can go through the process and actually buy the package. And once you do buy it, we're going to be getting in touch with you in the next 24 hours, and we're going to be setting up times where you can actually meet us. And of course, you don't have to meet face to face. You can actually meet online, unless you want to meet face to face. If you live next to or close to either of us, we're both in Sydney. If not, we can do it online like we're doing now, no problems. But yeah, so that's the link there to actually get this package and sign up today. Now, this is what you're going to get again. I'm just going to be really clear with you here. The clarity session with me, which is worth $500, that's 2 hours of goal setting. A goal setting around what you want in your life, not what your husband wants, not what your kids want, not what your parents want or your boss wants, what you want. And it's your time now. So this is really, really important. The easy how-to guide with the session with Nic and the oily gift, $300, the bonus of the oils, and the bonus of the specific oils, how to use them for menopause or any other thing that's going on for you, and of course, being part of the Facebook group. So, again, worth $850 plus, plus, and you can get it for $97. Again, click on that link just to sign up, okay? All right, so moving on. Now, you have 2 choices. You can invest in this and reap all the benefits immediately, or you can actually get off the webinar and go to bed or whatever and just continue on with your life, okay? So the first option is do nothing and don't take this leap of faith, right? That's the first option. The second option is to pony up, this small investment today, compared with all the value that you get in return, and just give it a shot, right? Now, you need to decide what's more exciting for you. Which choice do you want for your life? And you need help, otherwise you wouldn't have shown up on this webinar. Of course, you know that you need help. So you've got 2 choices, and just to get some help with the problems that you're having, or you can just go back to what you were doing before. It doesn't really matter. It's up to you guys, really. All right, and again, there's the link there to actually click on to open the page and to actually take some action. Take some action around your health and what you want in your life. For such a small investment, you get such huge value, such huge value. So, I mean, I can't express that enough. Maybe you can hear it in my voice, but I can't express that enough. Now, typically, there are 2 types of people that show up on these webinars. First, there are the women that are quite passive and they don't really take much action, etc., etc. But I don't know about you, but I don't really want to work with people like that. I want to work with people like us. They hear it, they understand it, they get it, they step up, they make things happen, they get results. Are you that person, or are you the other person? Okay, and if you want to take massive action and you want to join us and come on this journey with us, when you know what you need to do. You just click on that link and click on it now, okay? All right, so what you're going to get again, just to be clear, is the clarity session with me, the session with Nic with the oils, the bonus of the 3 lots of oils, the second bonus of how to use the specific oils with menopause, and also the Facebook group, being part of that Facebook group, which has got so much value within it, just within itself. And total value is $850 plus, 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 plus. And that's just not even to mention the value it is to your health and to your life. That's just putting a monetary value on it. I mean, that's not the real value of the real results. So that's just to make that clear. Now, girls, I'm nothing special at all. I'm absolutely nothing special. I personally went through so much myself. You know, I went through so much myself, and I was so reluctant to change. I didn't want to give up teaching. I fought it to the end. I was really, really stuck. And, you know, I was really close to being carted out in a stretcher out of my job as a teacher, I must say. I didn't sleep for years and years and years. And I actually bought a Fitbit, not to figure out my steps, but to actually figure out how much sleep I was getting. And honestly, I was lucky to get an hour a night. And even those Fitbits, I reckon they overestimate how much sleep you get. So, you know, I was totally, totally stuck. And, you know, I think my mindset was really, really locked. And I just guess I was a bit of a slow learner. And I just don't want anybody else to go through what I went through. But I am so much better now for making the changes that I did, for getting the coaching, for getting the help that I needed. And, you know, if I can make those changes, you know, I know that you can too, because you know what? I'm nothing special. I'm just an ordinary woman, just like you. And I made the changes for myself. And now what I want to do, my mission is to basically help other women, you know, just so that you don't have to go through this, so you don't have to do it the hard way, that you can do it the easy way by taking these steps and just, you know, getting on, just clicking the link, you know. And for $97, guys, I would have paid thousands to have this information when I was at the peak of my symptoms. I just, you know, anyway, I'll stop going on. Okay. All right. So again, last time, what you're going to get, session with me, session with Nic, and the how-to guide, the bonus of 3 bottles of oil, the other bonus of how to use the oil specifically for menopause or otherwise, and the entry into the Facebook group, which is priceless. Total value of $850 plus, and it is $97, as I said before. Okay, so that's it, guys. The webinar is pretty much over, except for if you want to ask questions. So go sign up now. You know, just click on that link. Just do it. Do it. And, you know, for those of you that have all stayed to the end, we've got your names there. I was going to say put your name in the chat box, but I don't think we really need to. So no problems. But if you still have questions, I totally understand that. What we're going to do is we're going to actually stay around for the next 10 minutes or so to answer questions, and you can just pop those questions in the chat box if you have any. Okay. Otherwise, what you can do is you can see here, if you've still got questions and you want to actually have a bit of a one-on-one chat, you can actually book in a session with me on my online calendar, which is, the link is there. You can actually, it's hyperlinked, so you can click on that now and find a time to have a chat with me. If you want to actually have a chat with Nic, we can actually organise that as well, but just pop in a time with me, and if it's Nic you want to speak to, that's fine. We can actually, I can organise that with her as well. So that's it, guys. Yeah.
I just want to say thank you. I've enjoyed it. I always like doing these with Gina and find out all sorts of bits and pieces, and just, yeah, thank you for jumping on. Anything at all that you want to know about the oils or any coaching information from Gina, just you know, you can send us a direct message so that we can get back to you personally if you need.
And if you join up on the Facebook group, you'll be able to actually chat with us there anyway. Okay, yeah. So directly chat with us there. So yeah, all good. Okay, so any questions? Any questions, guys? Amanda, Debbie, any questions? All good?
Great.
Have you got your hand? Do you know if they've got their hands up? I can never tell on this thing.
I can't. I'm raising my hand. I'm raising my hand, but I don't.
Are you raising your hand? If you raise your hand, I want to check and see if we can actually see it. Oh yeah, I can see you raise your hand. Ladies, do you want to raise your hands at all? No? All right, ladies. Well, look, thank you so much for listening. You know, we're really passionate about what we do. We know that we can actually help people, and we can make life so much easier. And just having gone through what I went through, I just wish that I actually had this, you know, this information a long time before.